And on your end, are you seeing the full screen of the PowerPoint, or are you seeing the presenter view?
Presenter view.
Okay. All right. Is that better? Okay. Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us for the 21st Community Advisory Committee meeting for the Vincent Thomas Bridge Deck Replacement Project. We have a very packed agenda, so I'm going to move on to the next slide and kick us off first with attendance. So I'm going to run through sorry, I'm working from a different desk than usual, so I'm going to have some technical difficulties on my end. I'll run through the Caltrans personnel in attendance today. First, we have Diana Jimenez.
Good evening, everyone. Diana Jimenez, Public Information Officer for Caltrans District 7.
Andy Chen.
Good evening. This is Andy Chen. I'm the bridge construction engineer for this project on Caltrans. Thank you.
Thanks. Wilfred Domingo.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Wilfred Domingo from Caltrans Office of Mobility Programs. Thank you.
Thanks. And Mike Francis.
Yeah, I'm Mike Francis, the area construction manager for structure construction.
Thank you. Jeff Newman.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Jeff Newman, Chief of Staff here in District 7. Thank you for attending.
Sumei Ten.
Good evening, Sumei Tan, Caltrans Office of Mobility Programs. Thank you.
Rima Tebivila.
Good evening, Rima Chebileva, Caltrans Project Manager for this project.
Alice Tyree.
Alice Tyree, Chief Executive Liaison with the Director's Office, District 7. Thank you.
And Ken Young.
Good evening, everyone. Ken Young, Caltrans Office of District Traffic Manager.
Thank you. And of our stakeholders in the community joining us, we have Axel Palacios.
Hey everyone, Axel Palacios, Director of Port and Capital Projects for Councilmember McCosker. Thank you.
Art Morokin. Morokin.
Art Morokin, Senior Media Relations Specialist for the Port of Long Beach.
Irma Lara Venegas.
Hello, Irma Lara Venegas with the Greenbelt Neighborhood Watch Group.
Thank you. Jeff Smith.
Yes, Jeff Smith with the CMGC, Skanska, CEC joint venture, pre-construction manager.
Thank you. Jocelyn Dominguez.
Jocelyn Dominguez, Community Engagement Manager and Harbor Area Representative for Mary Karen Bass.
Thank you for joining. Jose Ochoa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jose Ochoa. I'm representing the office of Senator Laura Richardson.
Great. It looks like we have Michelle Grubbs, Circleback AI Notes joining us. I don't know if they'll say hi. Nahar Desai, could you please introduce yourself? I think you just joined, so I'm have you on the spot.
Yeah, hi. Nahar Desai, I have property interests along Alameda Street, so just was invited by the council member to join.
Got it. Ray Regalado.
Hi, Ray Regalado, community member, Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council President.
Nina Turner.
Good evening, everyone. Nina Turner, Local and Regional Government Relations at the Port of Long Beach.
All right, thank you. I think that is everybody. And I hope you've had a time to review the agenda. We'll be going over first the prior action items, or the action items from our prior TAC meeting in April. We will have an overview of the TAC meeting that we had last week. And we'll have presentations over the project schedule, the pre-full closure construction work, and post-full construction, full closure construction work, the goods movement stakeholder meeting recap, which we talked a little bit about in previous meetings, is a sort of consortium at this point of different stakeholders from the ports, from industry, and different parts of government working on aspects of our project, like the TMP. As you'll see, there's some sub presentations within this goods movement stakeholder group recap, and they'll touch on the various subcommittees and issues that stakeholder group is covering. We'll have another update from our project coordination map and our efforts there, an update on public information, and then we'll have a discussion period after all those presentations, record any action items, and announce the next meeting. So I will move over to the slide. In our previous CAC meeting, Ray and another community member mentioned their concerns about communicating with different communities within the harbor area, most notably in Wilmington and San Pedro. So we were to explore additional ways to streamline project information for the harbor community. Since then, Diana Jimenez and myself have met with Ray Regulato and discussed different ways that we could get information into communities like his, and we're going to work together on an ongoing basis to figure out the right tools and frequency for communication there. We also discussed the development of a 1-800 information line that residents could call during the closure, and the City of Los Angeles, through the office of Councilmember Tim McCosker, are working on that effort. And Rima, our project manager, will give an overview of our CHAC meeting.
Thank you, Nathan. At May 20th Technical Advisory Committee meeting, we shared the following presentations: project schedule update, pre-full closure construction work, and post-full closure construction work. Goods movement stakeholder meeting recap. We're going to talk about the same issues today. Project coordination map and public information update. Next slide, please. We also discussed the following topics. The Metropolitan Water District mentioned that if construction is delayed for the Vincent Thomas Bridge deck replacement project, it could overlap with the Pure Water Conveyance project. Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Ray, noted that Phillips 66 facility will be decommissioned during the deck replacement, potentially causing impacts to residents. And Ray, I know that the Phillips 66 meetings with the neighborhood councils are happening this week. Probably they discuss project timelines, so later you can tell us if you know something about the schedule. The Los Angeles Fire Department asked to meet with stakeholders to discuss emergency service planning for bridge workers on the deck replacement. Also, Fire Department mentioned they need more information about road closures for the detour route resurfacing plan for next winter, so department can consider its resource deployment and preload data to its dispatch system, and we will be working with them. Next slide, please. Project schedule update. So as you know, we started the environmental phase or P&D of this project in February of 2023 and completed it in fall of 2024. Currently, project is in design phase, which will be completed really soon in late summer of this year. Construction will start in late winter of this year with pre-full closure work, which will be completed in fall of 2026. The full closure will begin in fall of 2026 and end in winter of 27-28. It will last up to 16 months. The post-full closure phase will begin in winter 27-28 and will be completed in approximately 1 year in winter 28-29. Next slide, please. We will resurface the two routes between winter 25-26 and fall 2026. The pre-full closure construction work, as I already mentioned, will be done between winter 26 and fall 2026. It will require one-directional night closures and possible one-directional weekend closures. The full closure or deck replacement itself will begin in fall 2026 and will be done by winter 27-28. Post-full closure construction work will be done between winter 27-28 and winter 28-29. It also will require one-directional night closures and possible one-directional weekend closures. And next is Andy to talk in details of all these construction phases. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Once again, my name is Andy Chan. I'm the bridge construction engineer for this project. And before I start, everybody can hear me fine? Good? Thank you. So for the next few slides, I'm going to talk about the, sorry, back to the previous slide, please. Yeah. So for the next few slides, I'm going to talk about the pre-foreclosure and also post-foreclosure construction work, such as what kind of work we need to do before the foreclosure and what kind of work we still need to do after the bridge is open to the traffic. And in the end, I will talk a little bit about the construction sequence during the foreclosure work, which is the actual deck replacement work. All right, next slide, please. So here are the main tasks for the pre-foreclosure construction works. First, we're gonna install the temporary elevator. This time we're gonna install 2 of them. And I will show you guys the location later, and also 2 stair towers. Those temporary elevator and stair towers, their main purpose is for to give the access for workers from ground to the bridge. And then we're gonna install the temporary protective shielding. Those protective shielding is to protect the waterway and everything that underneath the bridge, such as the publics and also the business. And then we're gonna install the temporary access platform, which workers to have access underneath the bridge, underneath the deck. And we are going to install the temporary bracing on the approach and also suspension span, which is ensure that bridge is still stable during the construction, especially after the deck is removed. And of course, we're gonna resurface the detour routes per request. So those are the main tasks that we're gonna do during the pre-foreclosure construction work. Next slide, please. So as for the post-foreclosure construction, there are 2 types of work. One is permanent, one is temporary. For the permanent, we're gonna support the utilities under the deck and also handle utilities on the permanent support, because some of the utilities might be disassembled or relocated for the construction purpose. And we're also gonna install the new drainage system at the seismic joints. So those are for the permanent works. As for the temporary work, we're gonna remove all the stuff that we just mentioned during the pre-foreclosure construction, such as access platform, protective shielding, and temporary elevators, and also the temporary bracing. So those are the work we still need to do after the bridge is open to the traffic. And next slide, please. And here's a picture of the elevator that we installed next to the Vincent Thomas Bridge in year 2011. This time we're going to install a similar one, and they will be located at the bend 9 and bend 14, one on each side of the Cerritos channel. And those elevators are essential for the work because not only that they provide the access for the workers from the ground to the bridge, but they also reduce the number of the truck on the bridge because workers can park their truck next to the elevator and use the elevator to get on the bridge. Because we all know that Vincent Thomas Bridge is a very narrow bridge. Therefore, we need all the space that we can get in order to have an efficient operation. Next slide, please. Another way to maximize the space on the bridge is utilize the gantry crane instead of the conventional crane, which will take up all the space on the bridge. So during the deck replacement, we are going to use the gantry crane for the removal and replacement. Next slide, please. And here is a picture taken in the year 2011 too. This is the protective shield that I was talking about earlier. We are going to use the similar shield this time for the Vincent Thomas Bridge deck replacement project, and we're gonna cover the entire underneath of the Vincent Thomas Bridge. And for this kind of work, we need the one direction closure, 90 closure every night. And the contractor will assemble those platform on top of the bridge deck. And once it's ready, and they will lower the platform with a crane and install underneath the bridge, as shown on the right-hand side of the right picture on the presentation. Next slide, please. And here are some more pictures of for the protective shielding. Just show you guys that we utilize this kind of shielding a lot in various bridges. So we have a lot of experience installing those shieldings. Next slide, please. And here is the temporary bracing I was talking about. The main purpose for those bracings are to ensure the bridge is still stable, especially after the deck is removed. As you can see, there are different type of bracing at the different locations. So actually there's a lot of work for those temporary bracing work too. Next slide, please. So those were the works that we need to do during the pre-foreclosure and also the post-foreclosure. For the next few slides, I'm going to briefly talk about what are we going to do during the foreclosure. Of course, we're going to replace the bridge deck. We're going to reconstruct the bridge railings. We're going to reconstruct the median barrier. We're going to reconstruct the drainage. We're going to replace the seismic sensors. We are going to reconstruct the overhead sign. Next slide, please. So here's a bit demonstration of how we're going to do this work. So we are going to start from the eastbound first. This is step one of the eastbound. So for the next few slides, blue means that things we're gonna put in for this step. And red means that things we're going to take out during this step. For example, step one at eastbound, we're gonna install the gantry rail brackets. We're gonna install the gantry rail. And then we're gonna remove the existing railing. We're gonna remove the existing curb. We're gonna remove the existing median barrier. And then we're gonna install the K-rail to separate the eastbound and the westbound. And the eastbound will be the working zone and the westbound will be the access zone. Next slide, please. For the step number two, after we install the K-rail, we're gonna cut the existing deck into 6 segments at each span. And once it's cut, we are going to remove those existing deck one by one by the gantry crane and load it on top of the truck and ship it out by the truck. Next slide, please. And after we completely remove the deck from the span, we are going to install the precast concrete panels by the gantry too. So we're gonna pick it up from the truck and load it on top of the bridge. Next slide, please. So after the eastbound is done, we will have the new precast deck panel on the eastbound, and next stage will be the westbound, which is, we still have the old deck. Next slide, please. So for the westbound, we're gonna follow the exact step as the eastbound. First, we're gonna remove the barrier, we're gonna remove the median barrier, and we're going to install the K-rail to separate the construction zone and access zone. And we're going to remove the deck one by one and pick it up at the gantry. And then we're gonna install the deck one by one by the gantry too. So the step is exactly the same as the the eastbound, sorry. Next slide, please. So after everything's completed, we will have a new precast panel on the entire bridge. And this type of work will take about up to 16 months. And there you are. I just went through the work, what kind of work we need to do for the for the pre-foreclosure construction, and also for the post-foreclosure construction. And I went through the what kind of work we're gonna do during the foreclosure. And this will conclude my presentation today. So I'm gonna pass the presentation back to Nathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. All right, here's that recap of the goods movement stakeholder meeting, which has been organized in large part by Pacific Merchants Shipping Association and the city council member for the 15th district, Tim McCosker. So as the group had discussions pertaining to detour routes, Caltrans noted that resurfacing on the detour routes will take place throughout 2026, potentially starting even at the very end of this year. Stakeholders stated that routes like Henry Ford Avenue, Harry Bridges Boulevard, and Anaheim Street could be reconfigured to increase traffic flow. Relating to the timeframes that our contractor will be working in those pre and post full closure periods for the preliminary or the temporary works that Andy described. The group at its most recent discussion discussed changing the previously proposed time to 10:45 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. for westbound and 10:15 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. for eastbound. That provides a longer work window, which is more economically and time efficient for Caltrans and the public. And to remind the viewers here that this is the timeframes for nightly closures before and after the deck replacement. Relating to the air gap consideration on the project, Caltrans confirmed that there will be a 2.5 foot impact to the air gap throughout the pre and deck replacement stages of the construction. And it will be one of our first tasks after finishing the deck replacement to remove all of the protective shielding and mitigate any impact to air gap from our construction. We also noted that there will likely be a permanent 11-inch deflection to the deck because of the weight of materials used in construction, and we're working on mitigating that as well, so that there will not be a long-term impact to shipping or access to the channel. A subcommittee as part of the Goods Movement Group is covering the traffic management plan. It's being formed to discuss the CCTV network and traffic control locations under consideration by Caltrans and the port, as well as the port systems or the port complexes and the harbor, as well as public notification strategies and 24-hour incident response along the detour routes. And a conversation about the traffic control officers that Caltrans hopes to deploy with the assistance of LADOT and local law enforcement agencies. We've identified 26 intersections where those traffic officers could be deployed during the closure schedules. That's not necessarily 26 intersections where there will be traffic control officers deployed, but those are areas that we've identified so far. And participants requested that Caltrans consider developing a mobile application similar to the one that Long Beach used or created for their replacement project for the Gerald Desmond Bridge. There's another group, another subcommittee as part of the Goods Movement stakeholder group working on rail crossing labor discharge issues, which is mostly having to do with getting port workers and terminal workers to their place of work against the heavy burden of traffic during our closure. And participating members of that subcommittee are PMA, ILWU, Union Pacific, ENSF, and Pacific Harbor Line. I'm going to ask Wilfred Domingo to take over for the project coordination maps section.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our latest project coordination map, and just to reiterate that we've been working continuously with our partners to make sure that we're minimizing the impact of all these projects, especially with the surrounding communities. So it's a good news that we've been able to work with the City of LA in delaying the Alameda Street widening project. That could have been a major impact into the detour routes that we have. So that's good news for everybody. And we've also been having meetings with project E all the way to the south of your screen. This is the Navy Way interchange project with SR47. So with our joint meetings, we were able to make sure that the impact with this project will be less than significant. Carrie mentioned about Project O, that is the Phillips 66 Marine Terminal Wharf, that it will also have less than significant impact. So I removed that in the map right now. The 10th and 9th Street demolition project, that is the prelude to the Shoemaker Bridge project. We're also working with the port and city of Long Beach for that one, to make sure that the impact will not be significant also on that one. And next slide, please. So this is our latest project coordination schedule. So just like what I stated, we've been working with the consultants with Project E. That is the SR47 Navy Way Interchange project. So that's the latest schedule that they have. It's going to be February 2027, and then it will end on February of 2030. But the good news also on this one is due to our coordination, we found out that there will be a less than significant impact with this project. So again, Project B, which is the Alameda Street South Improvement Project, that is now being delayed after the full closure. So that's good news for everybody. The other thing that was mentioned by Rima, that was mentioned during the TAC meeting, is the decommissioning of the Phillips 66 refinery. It's still not here because we still don't have any information on their traffic handling or anything that will have impact into the Vincent Thomas Bridge project. Once we get additional information for that project, then I will certainly have it included here if it has a significant impact. So this is our latest coordination map and schedules right now. Thank you.
All right. And in the Public Information Office, we're asking members of the community to join a list for text message notifications. This is a way that we'll be able to issue information in real time. This will complement other efforts that the department has in sending out notifications as advertisements to mobile users and internet users, both on their computer or phone, as well as different social media and traditional media efforts to get the word out about the traffic and detours and other things that people want to know about our project. All right, so we'll move into the open discussion part of the meeting, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. We have a few members from the community. Would anyone like to make comment about the presentation or have questions about the project? I see Ray has his hand up.
Yeah, it came to mind that the construction, much of this construction that will be occurring overnight, will there be a higher level of noise being emitted from the bridge? We don't have a lot of residents around, but there are some that are close. So I'm wondering if the noise being emitted might have to be discussed with or kind of given warning to the residents and maybe even some of the workers that happens overnight.
Okay, so we have contractor in this meeting. Maybe they have something to say about that. Tony, Jeff?
maybe they stepped away. Maybe we can come back to that question.
I'll be able to answer that question. This is Andy Chen. I've been working on this bridge. Maybe I have worked on this bridge maybe 15 years already, and there's a lot of night shift, night closure, and we do a lot of similar work, such as you can see from my presentation, we hang that protective cover on the bridge many times with the same method. And then because like you mentioned, there's no resident around there, so noise wasn't one of the concern for such work, especially we're not doing the pile driving. Usually pile driving will be the concern for the noise. So for 15 years, we never received any complaint for the noise for the similar work. But we will look into that if you mention it, if you want us to. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, Jocelyn, you got your hand up.
Yes, hi. Sorry if I missed this already. It's been a while since I've been able to join one of these meetings. And I think you mentioned it earlier, but is there already, or is this in discussion on what outlets or your strategy to get the word out to the community as we get closer to the date and, you know, the alternate routes and all those things? And can our office be looped into, or myself can be looped into that conversation, just so that we can be of assistance to help spread the word as well?
Yeah, we're happy to do that. Motorists will begin seeing signs out on the various freeways in the area several weeks in advance, pretty far out through the region, both to the north and to the east towards Orange County. There will also be many methods of communication that you all could amplify, like social media to residents, and maybe we could get into your newsletters, especially if you have maybe a way to communicate with people directly in that part of the city as part of the mayor's assets or abilities.
Yes, absolutely. And if it would make sense to kind of have a separate meeting or something where we can kind of coordinate, just so we know when this is, you know, when you'd like us to send it, or, you know, just make sure we're on the same page around that, that would be great as well.
Yes, there's a gentleman on the Caltrans team. He joined the meeting. His name is Shane Weaver. He works in government relations for this project. And if you haven't already talked, he'll be helpful in setting up a meeting.
Okay, great. Yes, I'll send Shane an email. Thank you.
Hi, Nahar.
Yeah, hi. So this is my first time joining the meeting, so sorry if this was covered in the past. But number one is the Alameda Street business environment has been waiting for the at least resurfacing of Alameda Street for quite some time. So it's kind of disappointing to hear that now the city is going to be delaying that project. But I know there is a plan for Caltrans to repave Alameda Street even before the pre-closure construction. Hopefully that will be done. But as it relates to the detour route along Alameda Street, has it been, has the fact that it turns into a one-lane street right where that Henry Ford Y meets into Alameda Street, has that been looked at? Because now we're really concerned, especially we're just learning about this night traffic. Are they going to be on Alameda Street? Or are we talking about oversized loads coming through Alameda Street now during nighttime, especially with this one lane at Henry Ford Y? Has all of this been looked at?
Hey, Nahara, the detour, I mean, it transitions from Harry Bridges to Alameda to Anaheim and southerly to Henry Ford. It doesn't go north of Anaheim, which I understand is the portion you're referring to that narrows down to a single lane.
Correct. So the detour route does not go past Anaheim Street?
No, it does not. No.
Is there an updated map of that? Because I know originally there was showing how, you know, the 405 axis, how would trucks and construction vehicles get to the Vincent Thomas Bridge from the 405?
Yes, we do have an updated map depicting the official detour, and Alameda amongst those are one of numerous alternate routes.
So it is an alternate route, or it's not?
It's an alternate route. It's not an official detour for those. There are for motorists that do not use the detour. There's other options, including Alameda, including Sepulveda, including PCH, that are alternate routes for those who may be more in the know in the area. The benefit of the detour primarily be for those who are not familiar with the area.
So is it reasonable to say we should be expecting additional traffic on Alameda Street?
I think there may be a little influx. I think the majority of traffic using Alameda, to my understanding, is, going north and south is truck traffic, and I think from what we've seen, at least on extended weekend closures, that has remained consistent, and we expect it to remain the same. There may be some residual impact on the alternate routes, but we don't expect anything significant.
How does the community get this updated detour and alternate routes map?
We share it within the context of these meetings, and your request, we could surely share that with you.
Sure, that'd be great.
Maybe on the website as well, if I'm not mistaken.
We can get it to you a few different ways, and ways that you'll be able to easily share with other people. But this is an example of the detour route, and right here is Anaheim. It takes a hook right or a left on to or from Anaheim. All right, is there anyone else? And Nihar, could you please, could you share your email in the chat for us, in case we don't already have it?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Thank you. All right, I think that might do it for discussion.
Joyce's hand is still up.
Pardon me?
Joycelyn Dominguez.
Yeah, I think that they've not lowered their hand since their previous time. People are not used to WebEx and its features. Okay. So on to action items. And we have a few. The first one being that we'll always make a recording of the minutes and upload this recording to our project website over the next week or so. And I think two agenda items that I heard were provide Nahar with a copy of the detour map, and also probably follow up with the mayor's office about communication to residents in the affected area of the project. So our next meeting for the Community Advisory Committee will be Wednesday, June 25th at 6 p.m. You'll use the same WebEx link as this to log into it. Thank you, Axel. I and my partner Diana Jimenez are always available to meet about the project. Our phone numbers are here, and the project website and email address are listed as well. So thank you for joining this meeting tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Ray raised his hand, I think.
Oh. Okay, I can't see hands because my screen's all, I'm gonna drop it off.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm sorry, I have a note here to mention it. But Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council will be having a presentation by Phillips 66 on June 9th at our next neighborhood council. If anyone wants to attend and learn a little bit more about the project of the decommissioning of Phillips 66. So I just want to put it out there. It's going to be at Peck Park. I don't have the address, but they can be found off of Western and south of Capitol. So
what's the time?
It's 6 o'clock. Starts at 6.
At what park?
Peck Park, Peck Recreation Center.
Thank you.
Western, south of Capitol.
We've had a meeting there before, I think during the environmental period.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you,
Most
Ray.
of you have been there. Just some information for you all.
Thank you, Ray. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And we got your email address, Nihar, so thanks for sending that.
All right. Well, have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.